is integrating AI into corporate strategy for governance professionals, and it promises to be a very insightful session. Once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all, and welcome to the session. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, having taken the national anthem, which is very quickly to introduce our guests for this session. What we will do is also the protocol so that response speakers can stand on existing protocol to manage time. We'd like to acknowledge the present the speakers for today's session. We have Mr. Bayomi Adebayo, who is the CEO and founder of Maverick.
I think we have a technical glitch there from our social secretary. So we don't waste your time, I will just, can you hear me? Okay. Are you back?
Yes, it's confirming.
Okay.
Yes, apologies. I had a network interruption. Yes. We were on the second speaker, who is Mrs. Folake Sadiq, CIS, General Counsel and Company Secretary, Westfield Energy Resources. Thank you very much indeed. The President, Chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute, Mr. Tokwana, FCIS. The Vice President, Mr. Francis Olawale, FCIS. The Honorary Treasurer, Mr. Onyekachi Oko, FCIS. Immediate past president and the current president of the council members here present, chairperson Lagos State Chapter, who is the host for today's event, Ms. Esther Were FCIS, the vice chairman Lagos State Chapter, Mr. Debola Babatunde FCIS, immediate past chairman of the institute, past president, past chairman of Lagos State Chapter, EXCO members here present, fellows of our dear institute, chairman of professional bodies, chairman of other chapters here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once again, a very good afternoon to you all, and thank you for joining this session. Now, AI is the raging topic, and all of the sessions around AI is not an exaggeration. AI is not in the future, AI is already with us. Today's session promises to give you very good insight as to why it is imperative that you need to begin to embrace AI as corporate governance professionals. Please confirm you can hear me.
We can hear you now, but there was a glitch.
Okay, apologies. Yes, apologies. The network is a bit unstable. We'll move on to the next item, which is to take the opening remarks from the chairperson of Ixan Lagos State Chapter, Mr. Fosewere FCIS. Let's put our electronic hands together as we yield the floor to Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Social Sec, for the introduction. And I want to welcome everyone to today's event. So we do not waste too much time. The Social Sec has already gone through our protocol. So I will just start by saying thank you to everyone who has joined us. As the Social Sec mentioned, the topic for today is integrating AI into corporate strategy for governance professionals. We all know that artificial intelligence is no longer a peripheral technology. It's something that has come to stay. It's rapidly growing. It's becoming a core driver in most of our businesses, transforming our businesses from our regular routine to routines that we do not even have, some of us do not even have control of anymore. But in doing all of this, we do not want to stay in an isolated place, pretending like we do not know that things are evolving. So we decided as a chapter to bring this topic closer to home and have discussions through our speakers, which we have carefully selected for today. Our first speaker, which is Ms. Folake Sadiq, KCIS. She is also the chair of the planning committee of ICSAN Lagos State chapter. And we have also Abayomi, Abayomi Adebayo, who is actually the co-founder of Maverick AI, an AI platform solution for governance professionals. So this concept is for us to take beyond implementation. It's for us to involve and integrate AI into our system. But while we are doing that, we must be conscious that as governance professionals, we must align with the regulatory expectations. We must be responsible in handling all of these tools and also be conscious and grounded in governance principles. We can't ignore that there are expectations from us as governance professionals. There are principles that we must uphold at every point in time: accountability, transparency, ethical leadership. So while adopting these AI tools, it's something that we must always have at the back of our minds. So we can see that board and governance committees are now expected to exercise informed oversight over AI-related risk, including data integrity, algorithm bias, cybersecurity, exposure, compliance obligations, and reputational impact. So at the same time, while we are trying to navigate understanding how we can integrate this into corporate strategy, we must therefore be conscious that this is time for us to redefine our board competencies, strengthen oversight mechanisms, and equip ourselves with tools that would help strengthen our work experience. So how would I say this would impact on us? It's left for us to stay tuned, listen attentively, and have that opportunity when it comes to asking questions, to discuss and question and also interrogate some of these issues that have come before us. And the idea is that we all enjoy the session, and at the end of the day, I'm very confident that we would all have had a good time, and there'll be clarity and practical guidance in the use of these tools. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chair. Please let's put our hands together, electronic hands together for Madam Chair. The next item on the agenda would be to take an abridged profile of both speakers. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, please permit me to start off. Just give me a minute. It's a bit of technical challenge. Permit me to start off with the profile of Mr. Abayomi Olakunle Adebayo. If we're not speaking, can we please mute so that we can hear ourselves clearly? Mr. Abayomi Olakunle Adebayo is a legal technology entrepreneur and co-founder and chief executive officer of Maverick AI Technology Limited, which is an AI-powered legal innovation company transforming how lawyers, businesses, and institutions work. He's built a distinguished career as managing partner of Mavericks Majors LP. He now leads Maverick AI in designing intelligent tools that automate legal workflows, elevate decision-making, and unlock new value across highly regulated industries. He brings together a strong foundation in law with an MBA complemented with advanced training in corporate governance, strategy, and regulatory compliance, enabling him to bridge legal, business, and technology perspectives in a practical and commercially viable way. Before co-founding Mavericks AI, Abayomi served as managing partner at Mavericks and Majors, which is a progressive law firm known for innovative, tech-driven legal solutions, and he's championed the early adoption of AI and automation. Abayomi is recognized for his ability to anticipate regulatory and operational risks early. He's crafted tailored mitigation strategies and aligned legal structures with long-term business strategy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Abayomi. He will be the second speaker. Our first speaker is Ms. Minute, please. Our first speaker will be Mrs. Folake Sadiq, who is a consummate legal practitioner and a chartered arbitrator. She combines her wealth of experience as a legal practitioner and an arbitrator, and currently serves as head of legal and company secretary for Westfield Energy Resources Limited. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first speaker, Mrs. Folake Sadiq, as she takes the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes,
Affirmative, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. I must say a big thank you to Ixen and our amiable host for having me here today. I know our host has invited me here because I haven't stopped yapping about corporate governance, AI, and risk, especially as it relates to cybersecurity risk. In the last couple of years, I've been dabbling a bit in cybersecurity because, and that did not stem from one great um, quest for knowledge is because I am someone that is very private and is very scared of my data being out there. And so whenever new technology comes to be, I'm always quite skeptical. And so that led me to want to understand how our data is being used, what the risks that are involved with the use of this data. And I'm going first as because the next speaker has something very interesting for us, and we thought that if the things that I have to say, I say it after the next speaker speaks, it might be of very, very little value because you would understand what I mean later on. So we're looking at AI as the previous speakers have said. AI is nothing new. Um, it's part and parcel of what we do nowadays. Everybody is using, if it's not, even if you're not using ChatGPT, and other AI tools, whether or not you like it, you're using AI when you use your Google Maps and when you go to the hospitals, in fact, sometimes. And so AI is here to stay. And I think that in our use of AI, it's and any new technology, we have to be very conscious of the risk that is involved in it. We should be aware. And that's what I'm going to try and touch on very briefly today, because we owe that responsibility to our whether it is our employers as company secretary or we're in law firms or other members of ICSAN, accountants and the other members of ICSAN, we owe that responsibility to the people that use our services. Now, over the weekend and over the past week, I'm sure we've all seen this thing that is trending on social media where they say, oh, AI should create an image based off of the information it has on someone. So you would ask AI to create an image. And that has been, especially over this weekend, last couple of days, everybody has been sharing their pictures. And I don't know if you notice, for some people that maybe you don't even know them well professionally, from their pictures, you could gather one or two things. Even if you didn't know them before, you would find out that, oh, like I saw that one person that I knew, I didn't know that the person was into Forex. But the one that struck me the most, and the one that I thought to mention during the course of this conversation, is one that I saw that somebody I know posted. And from that picture, I could tell no, I could tell a lot, and some of it worried me. That picture had the person's company's logo. I can't say the company because it's a company we all know. It had the person's position. It had information that I ordinarily would think is sensitive. And I'm sure you will think the same too. So my question, what started running through my mind is, if it is AI that is generating this information based on what AI knows about this person, how much information does AI know, not just about this person personally, but also the person's professional life? And that just illustrates how somewhat risky. And this person now went ahead to post it, thereby giving us that information that maybe some of us didn't know. I learned a lot from that one picture. And that brings me to the reason why it's important we're aware of a few things when we're using AI. Now, we use AI as company secretaries, in-house counsel, for example, for contract review. We use it for scanning the regulatory horizon, knowing what new law is there. Use it for risk identification. People in law firms, accountants use it for all sorts of things as well. Now, have we ever stopped to think about the confidentiality and privilege risk that may be associated with this usage? And I think this is important because sometime in October 2025, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, had said something that scared a lot of people. I don't know if some of us remember. And he said that ChatGPT is currently not protected by any legal privilege. And that is not only applicable for ChatGPT. A lot of the AI tools that we have now aren't protected by any legal privilege. So what that means is that basically everything you impute into a chat box, into AI, is held, is can be used when it is subpoenaed. What that means is that and he explained further that if, for example, they are requested by the courts via subpoena, via document discovery to make information available, they have no choice but to make that information available. He went on to complain that, the law hasn't caught up with AI, and he would love a situation where there is privilege and things that are said are kept confidential. But that's not the current case. So it's not private, whatever it is that you put there, it's not private, and it could be used by, imagine being in a dispute and your adversary is asking the courts to subpoena what you've been typing into AI. What will happen? Now, as lawyers, I would like us to remember that a lawyer shall not knowingly reveal confidential or secrets of his clients under the rules of professional conduct, And so this obligation is something that is innate. Whether we're lawyers, I don't know what the relevant provision under accountants, the rules that govern accountants and other professionals, but every professional has a similar provision. Another thing that I would like us to understand about the use of AI, and please bear in mind, I use AI. I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but it is important we have, because coming here and just telling you about, use AI, how great it is nothing new. We've heard that in many on different occasions, right? But I don't think we talk about some of the perils enough. Because what comes to mind is, let's look at how AI is handled. It does three things. When you put information into an AI, I don't want to go into the generative I don't want to go into technical terms, but let's just say ChatGPT, for example. It stores it, which is not a problem. If it's going to need that information to do what you want it to do, right? Then it processes it, which is also fine. But the issue that is a bit of a problem is that AI is at liberty to reuse that information. So basically, anything that you put there goes into a database. And that database, it's a language learning model. So it's always using the information that we all provide it to improve its knowledge. So imagine putting privileged information into AI of maybe something that your company is trying to develop or something. And somebody then goes, that data is out there, there's nothing you can do about it. And then somebody also asks a similar question, maybe in a competing organization or whatever. It has that information you've put in stored, it will process it, and it will use the information you have provided it to give that person that information. So to give a possible competitor that information, to give a possible adversary that information as well. So, and the fact is, data is gold now. And that brings me to the fact that our data in a lot of the data processing centers that we use or solutions are not based in Nigeria. The law or the government is trying to encourage that we have data centers in Nigeria, but they are not based in Nigeria. So that means they are not governed by Nigerian law. They are not governed by the NDPR. To guard against this, what the NDPR has done is that clause section 42 of the NDPR says that you can use foreign data, foreign processors or foreign AI, or you can process data through foreign jurisdictions, right? But they must meet certain standards. And the standards are broken into two. One is that they must have effective laws that govern data protection. And also, they must have an agency or an entity that enforce these laws and ensure that data is protected. Now, for that, to provide a guideline, what the predecessor of our current data regulation did was to create guidelines for the application of the law. And if you go to Annex C of the guidelines, it has a list of countries that we can use their data. So that puts another obligation on us, because what that is saying is that this data that we're putting out there is processed by foreign entities. Now, as lawyers, as people responsible for confidentiality and confidentiality of information, privilege, knowledge, and all that, we have a duty to ensure that the platforms that are processing this data are under that list. There are about 42 on the list. You can please feel free to just Google it. You would find the compliance documents issued by NIDA. And then there are 42 entities on that list. But it's also very important that we are aware and we keep updating our information, because in a recent case of Ikigali and NIDA, filed in 2023, what happened was that the complainant or the claimant, Ikigali, had challenged this compliance code, this compliance created by NIDA. And what the challenge was essentially saying is that NIDA wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, that some of the countries on the checklist weren't complying with the requirements, meaning that they did not have proper laws, they did not have an agency regulating data. And the court agreed and struck out more than three countries. So if you go to the list, you will see number one on the list is African countries that have signed what is called the Malombo Convention, which is the African Union Convention on Cybercrime and Personal Data. So what NIDA did back then was that it just took the fact that this had been signed and assumed that all these countries were following the requirements under that convention and added it to our compliance list. But this challenge made us realize that countries like Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Comoros, Togo, India are not on the list or should not be on the list. And this was struck out by the court. So that goes to show that using AI is not that straightforward. We need to know what we're doing with it. We need to know this platform, who created it. A lot of AI tools now are created in India. India is well ahead of a lot of countries when it comes to IT. So imagine just assuming that even if you check and you just assume that, oh, India is up there, a lot of they're really big on tech, and you use this platform, not knowing that in Nigeria there is a case that says we should not use platforms and AI tools that are from India. So if it's the common ones like ChatGPT and the other ones that are governed by the US, that are governed by EU, then you're fine. And other ones on the list that were not struck out. So these are some of the things that I would like us to know. Another thing that I want us to pay attention to is that this thing that we're talking about, the use of AI, use of data, is not in the abstract. We're all aware that companies like MultiChoice was fined by the government sometime last year. I don't know what the current situation is with that. Meta, the creators of Facebook, also received a fine. And all of this stemmed, I remember back then, we were like, does that mean we'll stop using WhatsApp and Instagram? All of this stemmed from the use of data. And using AI, it's data that we're putting there. Another thing that I would like to bring to mind is also the accountability gap. We need to constantly remember that when you ask AI to do something, AI is doing it as a free agent, and then it's submitting it. When it submits it and you use it, AI is not going to sign that document. AI is not going to be responsible for it. So this thing that we do, because AI is so fantastic and it really helps make our jobs easier, that we tend to rely on it, we need to be careful, because any errors that we find with the documents provided, no matter how fantastic, we're still accountable for it. So there is a need to constantly check and recheck the output of these AI platforms. I'm sure you must have heard of something that happened in Australia where PwC was fined a hefty sum because the documents that they submitted, they prepared a report, and it was the courts found out that, or the entity that commissioned them to do the work found out that they had used AI for a large part of it. And not only that, there were errors. Even you and I, when you're using AI, and if you've used it for a couple of times, right, and a colleague brings you something that is copy and paste from AI, you would know. Even when you don't know, or even when you remove the obvious telltale signs. You will find that. Are we aware that there are ways of knowing whether a document was created by AI? There are certain apps that you would run a document through and you would find out, and that app will tell you whether AI was used in creating that document and to what extent. So imagine preparing a report, a board resolution, and somebody, whether to be mean or out of curiosity, decides to do this. What are they going to find? Are they going to find that 90% of your work was done by AI? Are they going to find that there's little or no creativity, there's little or no accountability on your end? So I think someone has referred to, please, I don't know if we're asking questions now, but please stop me if you have a question. Someone has referred to AI as a black box. Nobody really knows what's going on and how the data is being used. So accountability is very important. We cannot delegate that to any entity, talk less of AI. I can go on to give some examples, but my discussion today is very limited. So I don't want to speak too much about these things. Um, Another thing that we need to be careful of is the use of when we submit certain things to AI. I'm sure we may have heard of the case of Shahid and Esther, where the court vacated a ruling that the court had made because it realized that the attorney had used fictitious court cases, precedents, to come to had presented that to the court, and the court had based the ruling on that, and the ruling was subsequently set aside. Another thing that I would quickly like to touch on is basically we've said a few things, right? We've talked about the risk associated with AI, but as I said, it is not a fear-mongering. It's not. This is not as meant to be. It's not meant to create fear. So I would say it's important that you look inwards. I'm not here to tell you don't use AI. I use AI. Everybody, you have no choice. You almost have no choice in the world that we live in today. So, but it would be nice to create a framework, like a guideline in our organizations, explaining or creating principles or creating rules on how AI should be used. So we can have some kind of framework, AI governance framework, right? And I would say if you're going to create that, you should consider a few things. One is disclosure and transparency. It's something that we need to consider. If an associate or if you yourself use AI, should you disclose? In certain instances, you might want to disclose. So depending on your organization, you might want to put together this framework that says, please disclose the use of AI or to what level AI was used. What we're getting at here is not to use it's not that you shouldn't use AI, but I would suggest that AI should always be the first level. A lot of importance should be placed on checking and rechecking what AI has done, the resources it has used, it is the information it has provided. Because what you want to do is what you don't want to do is also numb your own creativity or create a situation whereby you are solely dependent or you're majorly dependent on AI and you can't do anything without this tool. I mean, we were lawyers, we were members of ICSAN before AI became prevalent. Another thing that we might want to consider for while creating this framework is maybe stating in the framework that there should be trainings for our associates, members, trainings for people that within a company that use, not people that use, trainings generally to let them know, okay, this is what is going on. I mean, we've said a few things about data protection now. It would be nice because everybody is just using it as if, oh, it is absolutely perfect. It would be nice for people to know that there are certain things to be aware of. So continuous training will be nice in putting together a framework. Now, I'm very much aware of the time, and I would just like to leave you with some of the some of the things that I do to ensure that I limit the amount of data that I am putting in there.
You just have
Into
1
this,
minute.
yes, I'm wrapping up.
All right.
So for example, what I do for to prevent my information being out there or my company's information being out there is I use the free version. So I don't log in. When I also put in information, I randomize it as much as possible. I don't put details about what exactly it is I need. It is general information. I don't put sensitive information, all of that. I use AI as the first level, first work, like the work a first associate will do for you. After that, once I have the basic framework, then I can, on my own private computer, on my own, at my own time, with my own word and everything, put in the sensitive information. Also, it might be helpful to use private browsers. There, I don't want to recommend any, but quite a few are available to you. And be conscious of the data and the need for authentication and the fact that you are still responsible to keep this information confidential. With that being said, I will just finish with the real point of technology is to amplify human capacity, not to dull it. So thank you very much. And I look forward to the rest of the event.
Thank you very much, Ms. Folake Sadiq, for that excellent presentation. You've actually taken most of our time, but I didn't want to stop the conversation so that we all have a grasp as to what this topic is all about. You've given us the nuances. I must apologize on behalf of the social circles having glitches with his poor connectivity joining us. So I decided to just take it on so we don't waste our time. First, before I call on the second speaker, because we are going to create a balance to this conversation, I would want to recognize the President Chairman of Council who has been with us, Mrs. Uto Okpana, FCIS. Thank you for joining us. Our Vice Chairman of ICSAN Lagos State Chapter, Mr. Adebola Babatunde, FCIS. Thank you for joining us. Mrs. Laide Adeyemo, ACIS, who is a member of the Eastern Lagos State Chapter Planning Committee. Mrs. Bukola James Cole, who is also a member of ICSAN Lagos State Chapter Planning Committee. Mr. Femi Akinola, who is a member of ICSAN Lagos State Chapter Planning Committee. And we have Mrs. Nena Wokobia, who is a member of our Welfare Committee, as well as Mrs. Vera Kanabe, FCIS, who is also a member of our Welfare Committee. So now we are going to our second speaker. We do not want to we are living in the times where we can almost not do without the use of these tools. Ms. Folake Sadiq has told us about how we should be giving us nuances and told us how we should be responsible using this platform. But we have someone here and we must create this balance. We do not want to pretend that in this time and age, we can do without the use of the tool. I'm one of those who wanted to be stuck in my ways. You have a staff who would use AI, you can detect it miles away. Sometimes initially you would think the person is so intelligent and you are wowed at what you see, only to find out that the person I would say 10 steps smarter than you because of the use of the tool. And I'm sure some of us have found ourselves in that classroom where some people are very smart to respond to questions, and the next thing you just check through and you see they're checking through their phone using AI. So it has come to stay. So we have Abayomi here, who Adebayo Abayomi here, who is the founder of Maverick AI, a platform which has been developed to help governance professionals in integrating corporate strategy into their work daily. I don't know if Abayomi is still with us because I'm trying to locate him here. Oh, yes, great. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Abayomi, you have the floor. So, tell us what we need to know about your platform and how we can use it responsibly.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. And of course, I would like to also say thank you to Ms. Folake Sadiq for that very insightful session. I think we can very topical issues that we all must take very seriously. And of course, she has been doing that, uh, taking over the heavy lifting from me. Today, my own role will be to just demonstrate practically how we can use artificial intelligence as governance professionals to optimize our roles, to enhance our work, and to make our lives better. Let me put it that way. And of course, in doing that, I will be introducing us to Mavericks AI. About 2 to 3 or 5 minutes, I will be taking an overview of what Mavericks AI is all about. And of course, I will be introducing us to certain AI agents that we have created, specially trained to undertake specific tasks that we do, no matter where we sit on the vertical, whether you are a litigator, a governance professional, an in-house counsel, a company secretary, we have something for you. And of course, we'll be demonstrating that afterwards. So please, I would like to appreciate everyone that is on the call, and please permit me to stand on existing protocol. So without much ado, let me just share my screen so that we can all follow as I present. Okay, can you please confirm if you can see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I can see some response. Okay, so first and foremost, let me introduce us to Mavericks AI. Mavericks AI is a platform where you have access to a suite of AI agents that have been specially trained to undertake different aspects of legal tax. And of course, we have 9 AI agents and all. But of course, I wouldn't be go into details about all of the AI agents. I'll just pick those ones that I think will be very relevant and useful to us as governance professionals. But this session will just be to do a rundown of the different AI agents. Okay, so what we need to know about these agents is that, of course, you can think of them as your AI employees or colleagues. And of course, they're always available to take vacation and all. That's one of the advantages of this technology, to ensure that you can always respond to anything that you have to do, because they're always available to you. And like I've previously mentioned, they are also like a lawyer. And of course, this is what generic platform like all those other large language models. Some of them, if you notice, some of them that they are all generic. They share database and all. You upload information to the database, and you're not sure exactly how the data is being used. So, but of course, we've seen that problem, and what we try to do is to create specialized platform for lawyers. Agents are adaptable. They are trained to also mimic your own template and your unique style and tone. So why that is important is because we realize that individuals or organizations have their own standards, and we want to also maintain that standard in a way that you can be sure that what comes out or the out to your specific need and standard. Okay, so I would like to introduce you to the first AI agent, which is called the Draft Wizard. I will not waste much time on this. All you need to know about Draft Wizard is that this is drafting of motions of research and find cases or something and present to you in a well formatted and editable version that you can easily run with. And of course, you can use Draft Wizard for drafting of letters of agreement of any kind. But specifically, I would like to also introduce to you the second agent, which is specifically created for secretaries, anyone that's responsible generating board report or work and is that agent that is able to draft your minutes of meeting. It's able to create your board committee reports, and it's able to also create a board pack for you. And of course, most meeting classes, some of them will miss out some important details. So board assistance has also solved that problem by creating an elite stenographer. You can think of it like a transcriber. All you need to do is to generate very average, and give you very, very reliable transcript that you can use. So once you have the transcript, you can easily create your minutes of meeting from that. And of course, I want to the third AI agent called the revisor. The revisor is that AI agent trained specifically to analyze contracts, to review agreements or any document of any tedious process to read very lengthy documents. But this doesn't obviate the need for you to still go through and all. But what this does is to help you to know very critical areas that you need to pay attention to and all. And so once you upload whatever document you're trying to review, the advisor is going to tell you the strength, the weaknesses, is going to tell you areas to improve, give you recommendations, even so as you may please. And of course, say for example, you want to create like a summary of multiple documents, you can upload it to create a summary for you of all the documents or a single document. And of course, it's so powerful that you can actually use it to also create like a legal opinion. All you need to do is to upload relevant documents and do that for you with the right instruction and all to create whatever you want for you. Of course, we'll be demonstrating that as well. So let's move on to the fourth section. Is the scholar. And of course, we know as lawyers that don't just want the reference at that aspect of our work. A well edited document with footnotes. That way, you can cross-check to know the authorities that have cited, the cases cited or status cited, and all. So the researcher is for very in-depth research and all, depending on the topic you are trying to find more about. And then the advisor is the fifth agent. Think of advisor as disabled to explain any legal principle and position you want, and then it's to give you the output, to tell you the processes, the procedures, and give you authorities. You could say, give me recent Supreme Court cases on social principle, and it's going to do that. But beyond that, it's also like your devil's advocate, like a strategist. It's going to critique your own argument, stress test your own position, and tell you in an anticipatory manner what the opposing counsel may use against your position. So this is a very valuable tool in the manner that it can help you to enhance your work, so you are not blindsided. You know the areas to improve. You know what you need to do. And of course, we also have law tutor. We created this specifically for law school students and law students generally, and of course, any professional that is taking or undertaking any, let's say, advanced legal education. So what you need to, it will limit itself to the materials you have uploaded, and if you have the marking scheme, it will also limit itself to that. And then you can learn through the personal tutor for you that will tell you how to learn and set questions for you. And of course, if you have drafts that you also want to upload it to, accept it, and of course, grade you based on the marking scheme that you have provided. And of course, if you don't have the resources, I mean, the documents for that specialized course, maybe you want general knowledge and all, it will still take you through that, learn and encourage you. So it's fully immersive, and AI agent is the compliance monitor. This is something we believe is also very, very important to us as government professionals. We don't want to be blindsided. We want to get ahead of regulatory and legal updates. So this is like the watchdog that will help you and find out updates and regulatory issues within a period of time. You could say, let's say within the last 1 week or the last 1 month or the last 24 hours, explainable way, and send it to your email, and you can also see it on the platform. And the next one is case manager. This is created specifically for those who are litigators. You go to court. A number of times you see that somebody goes to court, they forget to update the record, or they resign. You can't understand what happened before. So this created to manage tax for law firms. You put updates of case and use it to send reminders. So it's like a because we're trying to cover the end to end, and we know that a lot of lawyers and governance professionals are very busy presence of their brand online. So the social media manager is able to craft compelling, judicial specific LinkedIn and other social media posts for you. It will create 3 options for you. You can select anyone you want. You can decide to refine it or choose it, and then you can go ahead and generate suitable and relevant image that you can also customize to incorporate your logo into the image that will be generated, and then you can go ahead and share after you have, of course, reviewed. So without wasting much time, let me go to the practical sessions and show us how exactly we can use Fabric AI. Okay, I hope we can all see. So this is Mavericks AI, the platform that we discuss. You can get it by visiting www.mavericks.tech. You can check it wherever you are. And of course, this is the first thing you see when you log on to the web registering for the first time. If you are also signed up. Of course, let me just quickly show you what you say. The name of the counsel or the professional or the organization or law firm, your email address and password, and that's it. So Let me log in to demonstrate how that works. Okay, so the draft wizard that I explained is a very first AI agent you're going to see. It's to your left hand side. But let's go to board assistant because of our time interest to most of us. I remember as a company secretary, you have to sit in meetings for so long. You take notes, and after that, you have your recording again to releasing. And so this is a very tedious aspect of our work, especially if you are even a company secretary to a listed company where you have a lot of committees. Then you finish your committee meetings, you do committee reports that will be presented in the board. And then you go ahead. What we did is to create a workflow that will solve this problem. So what you use, let's say about 10 hours or 6 hours to do, you can do under 30 minutes or 1 hour. And I'll show you how that works. So the first thing you see is, of course, draft minutes and report. This is what you use to create your minutes and your board committee reports and all. If you have your template, like I mentioned, the AI agent is designed and created to learn from you, your unique style, your tone, your template. So all you need to do is to, of course, upload your template. So which I'm going to do right now for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, so I'm uploading a template just to demonstrate how this works. And of course, if you have your transcript, you can upload your transcript. I have done a transcription already with Mavis here, and I'm going to upload it very shortly. But what we have noticed is that most of the transcript generate from other platforms may not be that accurate. So I will see show us how you can generate accurate transcript from Mavis Stenographer. But for now, let me upload a transcript that we have to just show us how uploaded a transcript, and then the third column you will see is to provide instruction. Typically, if you are assigning a role to an associate or to any downline, you also instruct them. You will not just leave them. You typically just say very simple instruction. For example, you can say using relevant information from the attached supporting document, draft the minutes of meeting. And that's it. It's a very simple and straightforward instruction. And if it's a board report you want, of course, instead of draft minutes of meeting, it will be draft uh, report. So you come to this yellow box that you can see and click generate. And what it is going to do is that it's going to study your template, uh, look at how you write, mimic it. The information have advertisements before and sometimes adverts at the end of the meeting. So, and in your recording, everything will be captured. And in the transcript, of course, because we trained it to pick everything verbatim, it's going to pick all those things. But when you get here, you instruct it correctly to say use only relevant information to draft the minutes, and intelligently is going to extract only those relevant information to whatever you are doing, and then present you with minutes of meeting that is already well formatted that you can use. As we can see, it's already done. It's lengthy, but just try and follow the template, the typical template of minutes of meeting. Okay, so but before I download, I'm still going to show us the downloaded document. Of course, you know, you also need to create your matters arising. Matters arising, of course, as we all know, are tasks that emanate from the meetings. and then the people that have been there, they are great. So all you need to do is to generate matters arising table, and in less than a minute or so, it's going to be ready, well formatted. Your minute is going to be already structured, well structured, and the matters arising will be towards the last end of the minute. Let's just wait for the output. And once that is done, all you need to do is to click download, and then you can detach. Okay, so that is done. And I'll download now. I'm currently downloading, and I'll share the document for all to see. Okay, so the document is ready downloaded. Okay, so like I said, the matters arising is towards the end, and you can see that it has by
Your
itself extracted,
your
already ascribed or designates the people.
your system is cracking up a bit.
Oh, okay. Uh, can you hear me clearly now?
It's been cracking up for a while now. We're
Yes,
barely,
it's been,
at least
yes,
from my end,
yes,
we
it's been
barely hear
cracking
you.
up.
Am I audible now?
Or maybe you could put up your video, then if it could help.
Okay. This is the minutes of meeting. Let me do that. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's go back to the platform to demonstrate other aspects of the board assistant. All right, so I'm sure you can all see what I'm projecting right now. So I did mention earlier that you can use the transcriber and all. So if you want to do that, all you need to do is to go to the third column here, where you can see transcribe audio video. Click on it. It's going to take you to another page where you can easily upload your file, whether video or audio, and then it to transcribe very accurately for you. And it's simple file now. So to do that, we could go on to also show other aspects of the board assistant so that we won't waste time on that. Okay, so let me show what you can do with the board pack creation. All you need to do is to upload your files. Uh, I, I have a couple of documents. Upload multiple documents. What we are optical character. It's, it's still going to work. And so bring them the way you want them to appear on the document. So if, for example, I want the board brief, for example, to be the number one document, all I need to do is to come to the arrow and push it up a little, then it comes up. Then if I want, let's say the minutes of meeting to follow, I come here, the arrow pointing up, you keep pushing it up. So it will go down. If you want it to go down to maybe you made a mistake and all, you can also do that. And if you also want to delete, maybe you mistakenly upload a document that is not part of it, you can easily delete on this part. So let's just create the board part now for us to see the outcome is done. So allow me to share that particular document so that we can all follow. Okay, so this is the board pack, and as you can, part of it, formatting will be maintained. It's not going to. So let me not waste so much time on this. Let me quickly go back to the. Let me go back to the stenographer to see if it's done. Okay, so we have our recording itself, and if you notice, you see the names, our local names and all.
Tabayo, are you still with us?
Want to demonstrate other aspects of Maverick AI that I believe will be of advantage to us as governance professionals. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen where we have Maverick AI now. Okay, okay, right. So we have the revisor. So the revisor, like I mentioned earlier, is the AI agent trained to review your legal documents, and I'll show how that works in in the Jiffy. So all you need to do is to upload the just upload the document you want to review. It could be an agreement and all. So for this purpose, I'm going to upload a simple memorandum of agreement just for us to see how this works. And then similar to what CP say review, or in an instance where what you want is you are, of course, most times you are representing a party or you have an interest on one side, you could say uh, review extensively and tell me what social party should watch out for, something like that. This depends on how well you are able to create instruction. So you can typically just do anything. So, but for this purpose, let's just do an overview of of that document and see what it comes up with. So once you say review, you can say general that most of these workflows are same, just some of these things. Okay, some other something hypothetical. So it's done. All we need to do is to download. Okay, that didn't come out right. I think that was a network issue. Okay, so the compliance review box is going to go ahead and give you an executive summary of the document, tell you the strengths, the weaknesses, areas to improve, and give you options that you can adopt depending on the document that you have uploaded. And then, of course, after this, I will also demonstrate the other aspect of it that I spoke about earlier, and that is document analysis. So it's done. I'll, I'll share that in a bit so that we can all follow. Okay. Okay, so this is the output from what we saw there. If you notice, it says it's there, and then the name of the document being reviewed is also going to be there. And then you have like an executive summary that gives you an overview of the document, the entire document, and then it goes on to tell you the legal strengths, regulatory. It points out some issues under that to say, for example, for this particular document, regulatory acknowledgement, clarity of trust subject matter, and all. Then there is also compliance weaknesses and risks that have been picked. So, for example, under here is saying vague consideration provisions, absence of trustee indemnity, lack of succession planning, and all. So this is really dependent on whatever document you have uploaded, and then it will go ahead to analyze, tell you what you need to watch out for. And beyond that, it will also propose redrafts and areas of improvement. So it's flagged the issue of indemnity clause, but it doesn't just end there. It tells you how you can redraft it. You might decide to now pick it, or you want your own template to be plugged in. Or what it has done successfully is to tell you that you need to watch out for this, and uh, with that, you can improve the quality of your output. Wasting time, let me go on to show you the other aspect of the revisor, how you can, for example, use it to write a ruling or a judgment, as it were, depending on what it is. I know some of us are arbitrators and all, or we want to create a legal opinion around a particular issue. You can upload all the relevant documents and then instruct it to carry on whatever tasks you want. Okay, so I'll go to this column. If you want to do that, you just click document analysis. So the critical thing we all need to know about document analysis is that you can use it to analyze multiple documents at the same time. You can summarize all the documents at once, or just summarize one of them. And for example, you send an agreement to a counterparty, they review without tracking. You want to know what they have changed. You can upload both documents and ask it to tell you the discrepancies or the areas that they have worked on, and then it will give you that. Or you could say maybe you want to track maybe Tanak, it will also go ahead and extract, upload something to sort of you need to come to custom analysis. I'm on custom analysis now. This is where you can customize your instruction as it were. So I'll just say do an extensive analysis of the uploaded document. and write a ruling. Of course, the purpose is not really to replace human beings and all, but then you could use this as a strategy to stress test your own internal document. Let's say, for example, you have a litigation ongoing and you have cases on both sides. You can use it to predict what may be the outcome or what is happening, and that may give you an insight to know what you may need to change. Maybe you need to change the way you present your evidence or find more cases and all. So the deep analysis in progress in about a minute or so is to come out as an editable Word document again that you can easily run with. You uploaded with pictures from a minute to recognize the character, the optical CTC I told you about, and then it should analyze it and then go ahead and conduct a research on that. So yeah, it's done, and then you can wants to see. This is it. Of course, it has picked some of the parts. Then the of course to set the introduction issue for determination delays on that point. And then there is speaking to existence of a justiciable cause of action, real risk of dissipation of assets, and you can see that it has provided some relevant cases that we can all verify, rest, on and the ruling will tell you whether it's dismissed or there's cost and all, just to mimic how it's done in real life. And then towards the end, you see list of authorities and cases. It will separate the case law from documents. So the essence of this is to reduce the grunt work that we do as lawyers, things that take so much time to help us to quickly get there. And we designed it to be able to take you from about 0 to 80%. And of course, the 20% remaining is very critical. That's where uh, Mrs. Folake was speaking to, in the fact that you don't have to abdicate your role as a counsel. This is a tool at the end of the day, and you need to still review, go ahead and look at it, verify all the facts, ensure that you improve it, and add that judgment, that strategy that you have acquired over the time by cause of your experience into it, so that your work will, of course, be optimized. So let me go to other agents so that I won't waste our time. Let me just demonstrate how the researcher, for example, works.
Okay, Mr. Abami, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, let me just quickly run through. Um, so, so you go to the researcher. The researcher is that agent that can conduct deep, and then it will come out as an editable Word version with maybe write a 5 page five page uh, paper on maybe jurisdiction generally, jurisdiction of the Federal Court. Then you click generate, conduct that research, and create a domain and use. We are aware that this particular AI agent is going to be very useful to not just governance professionals or who may want to do very deep levels for the article. Once it's out, you can come and download from that download box. Okay, so it's done. And let me download output looks like. Okay, I need to first open it. Okay, so it's being opened right now. Right, so I'm projecting it right now. And if you notice, it's well formatted and everything has footnotes. There's footnote, there's footnote 1, 2, 3, 4, based on what research has been done on that, how accurate the information is. This is just like an overview. And then towards the end, it's going to also create uh, the conclusion for you to just have like the summary of what it has done. Yeah. So because of our time, let me just demonstrate the last one that I think will be beneficial to us, and that is the compliance monitor. Okay. So this is the compliance monitor. I also get ahead of regulatory and legal to be ahead of screen, maybe something innovation or retail defense, anything you want. All you need to do is to select it, and if it doesn't capture it, you may want to now create this particular industry. Maybe it's so niche that it's not part of this. Then you create it, and then to be part of it. So let's say we want to track, let's say mining, power and energy, and let's say technology at the same time. Then you come down to choose the jurisdiction that you want. Then you choose, or daily will be within 24 hours, weekly will be, of course, within 1 week, or monthly. So for this purpose, I just choose monthly, and then you go ahead to check for updates. And what this is going to do is, in that particular industry that you should be aware of, and then to come up with an explainer for you to understand in a very simple way what the regulatory update is all about, and then it will go ahead to also send it as an email to your inbox. So it's done. As you can see, for power, it's talking about amended Electricity Act 2026. It's talking about transfer of regulatory oversight to State Electricity Regulatory Commission, e-governance bill, proposed AI law. It's talking about Nigeria Communications Commission review of national telecommunication policy. It's talking about Securities and Exchange Commission revised minimum capital requirements for digital asset firms. So the essence is all the research on one spot so that you can easily maybe now distill action points from there. And I think lastly, I would like to also address Mrs. Folake raised during her presentation regarding confidentiality, data protection, and all. So let me quickly go back to the slide to show us what we have done to address that concern. So what we've done is that we came up with something a little bit innovative to say that we don't want all your data, we don't want your client's confidential information to come to our server. So how do we solve the problem? What we've done is to ensure that everything you do on the platform is on your local browser storage. They call it IndexedDB. So what that means is that your interaction with the platform is not going to any server. Your document you upload is on your system, it's not going to any server. Whatever output is generated by the platform is on the system and it's not going to any server. So that way you are sure of confidentiality, you are sure that you're not sharing any data with a third party that you necessarily don't know. The only detail that we have will be your sign up information, and that is the name and the email address with which you sign up. Every other information of two critical parts. Number one, the complexities around data protection, regulation, and all. This is not a tool that we be used in Nigeria. How do we keep up? A lot of people who are in the legal vertical, they treat information and data is very important, and you don't want to be embarrassed out there, like she mentioned. You don't want to impute a document and then you see it the next day being used by your opponent or anything. So we created it such that you will be sure of the data you are uploading because it never leaves your system. It's on your local browser. And if you notice, most of the output is something that you download and you save on your system. So that way, we try to, of course, in addition to other security measures that were put in place to ensure that you have no risk in terms of exposing your client data or exposing your client's confidential information. So I think I should stop there. We have other AI agents that we may want to show, but maybe some other time or we could create a webinar around it for people who may be interested. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bayomi, for that presentation. I was going through the chat box and I saw some complaints that some people couldn't hear you. So please, you can drop your phone number if you're open to it, an email address, so people can contact you if they want maybe a one-on-one demo or presentation. I'm sure you'll be open to doing that.
Yes, we would. And apologies for that. I think that was the network issue. So I will drop the email address and the phone number you can contact.
Yes, that's very good. So I think one thing that has struck me with this presentation is the fact that we can see our local names recognized. And I think the icing on the cake is this zero access architecture, protection of data and the information that is being shared on this platform. I don't know if we have questions we want to ask. If we do, please put in your question and mention who you're directing your question to. We have Ms. Folake Sadiq still in the room, and we have Mr. Abayomi here who may want to talk about provide answers to the use of this platform. So please let the questions come. I think I can see one here from Oladele Taiwo asking if the platform is free. So I'm sure that's for Sabayomi.
Okay, thank you. So it's free to an extent. We have free version that you can interact with and test to see if it suits your peculiar needs, and that lasts for about 3 days. After that, you may now decide to choose any plan that fits your role or the level of the workload that you have.
Okay, thank you. So okay, Mabisi, you've raised your hand. You want to speak? Or you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I have my questions already in the Q&A box, but if you want me to ask directly, I can.
Okay, please do.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abayomi. I have two questions. First, I must commend you and your firm for this great work. The AI is really impressive. My first question is about plagiarism. How, particularly for the researcher and the advisor, how do we guide against plagiarism? And my second question, you said that the data that we upload on the AI is localized on our system. So my question on that is that which LLM do you now use to train the AI when that's just my question. You may be able to answer it appropriately. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So let me start with the first one on plagiarism. If you notice, most of the output that was generated had references, had cases. For the researcher, especially, you see that there are footnotes. So, and of course, we understand that in the academic world or doing research generally, you need to cite your sources. You need to be able to ensure that they are verifiable, was why we created it that way. You can literally just go to any footnote, verify the authenticity of that, so that way there's no plagiarism because it's creating from different sources and also providing you with access to those sources that you can verify, you can do further research on and all. So that way you are sure you are not just copying anybody's work or anything like that. And then to the second aspect, yes, the data, the confidentiality and everything is on your local storage. However, what we do is that the we use an API and it comes to your system through the platform to interact with whatever information is on your local browser. That way, it studies your template and then gives you back the output. It doesn't take any information from you. And maybe one thing I also need to address at this point is something that was mentioned during the course of the presentation. One of the safeguards that was recommended is that you should use free version. So why that is good, but there is a risk in that. When you use free version of some of these platforms, they have the license to train on your data. But sometimes when it's a paid version, they are obligated to provide that information to you in a very controlled environment because it's regulated. So I just needed to include that. So what we do for Marvis AI is that it comes to your platform and then interacts with your data, with your document and all, and it doesn't leave with any information, which was why we created it for you to be able to upload your template so that on your platform, your system, it will mimic those platform, those templates and give you the output that you want.
Okay, I'm sure you've answered that question. Someone else is asking, Morinibe, where's the link to the app, to this app? Thank you. Do you want to share the free version, Mr. Abayomi?
Absolutely. So we can drop that link. I've shared the details of the contact information then. So I'll just follow up with the link to the website, to the web app.
Okay.
I'm doing that
There's
already.
okay, thank you. There's another question from Folashade Moyo Palai. Thanks to you both and Ixan Lagos Esco for a good session. Thank you to you too. Mr. Abayomi, are there any legal rights protection on the platform? She's referencing the comment from Ms. Sadiq on legal restrictions on AI usage.
Okay, so because I think the question is about the legal privilege that you mentioned. So we don't have right over whatever you have. It doesn't even come to us. There's no way we can say it. And like I said earlier, you are imputing your information, your document, and all, and we don't even know what you are doing with it. So there's no way any of such risk can crystallize because we don't have it. So whatever you do is limited to you. And we did it such that even when you sign up on the same system and another user comes to sign up, he's not going to have access to whatever you have access to as a user because it's also linked to your IP and to your specific local browser.
Okay, thank you for those questions. I guess that's all we have here on this platform. I hope I've not missed out any question. Okay, someone else has asked, how can we how can we have access to the cost of the paid plans before we sign up?
It's on the MyBCI platform itself. Maybe I should just quickly show that. So if you go to I don't know if you can see it because I'm sharing already.
Yes,
So you just click upgrade plan, and then it will show you all the plans, and then you can either check either monthly or annually. So that's the subscription plan.
Okay. Okay, so someone is asking that so she can register, that's Morinibe again, so she can register specifically specifically for, so I can register specifically for my company and have our data protected. That's amazing. Okay, that's just a comment. Okay, Mrs. Adeyemo is asking this. She's asking the question that why is it denominated in dollars? She thought it's a Nigerian app. Abayomi, answer why you're
It's
operating in
not
dollars.
so what we do. Okay. Because most of our cost comes in dollars, but when you want to pay, we are integrated to Flutterwave, and you have options to pay in naira. So you can either do maybe your transfer, use your Mastercard, use USSD, or any other options that Flutterwave provides. Or it's payment is actually in naira, not dollars.
Okay. Thank you. So I think our time is fast spent. Abami, please drop your phone number details so they can reach you if they have to, so we can close up on this session. We were supposed to spend about, okay, I'm seeing hands raised. I don't know. Can we still take this? VC, maybe you'd ask your question when it's time for you to give vote of thanks. So you ask your question and go into vote of thanks. So we end it.
Madam Chair, I have one question, please.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abayomi, for your presentation. I'm just concerned about the security aspect of the data being shared on this platform. As we all know, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission and how serious they are of data usage and third-party usage of data without authorization. So, and you've made a comment that it's not shared at the back end, that it only ends browser of the user. And if I am using a system and that same system, another person, maybe it's a general system in the office anyway, and it's not mine, and I've logged out, another person logged in, my information, will it be shared with the other party sees it? And what is the guarantee that somebody is not ripping our data somewhere at the back end of your app that is being used, which is a violation of our data rights? So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, sir. So in terms of how we treat data, like I mentioned, the only data we have access to at all is your sign-up details. That is your name or your phone, your email address that you use to sign up. Every other thing, we don't have access to it. And as much as possible, we discourage sharing of multiple devices because if you notice, most of the otherwise, if you are able to keep your data, some of the output that you downloaded, you are able to keep them safe, then you can go ahead. But regardless, if any other user comes to use your system or your laptop and they see what you have downloaded, they will still be able to see what you have done. So we recommend that in as much as possible, try and separate systems and users, right? But if you have no choice other than to have that centralized, then try and find a way to put security around the data downloaded from the platform so that other people will not have access to it. But on the platform, they will not have access to it directly because it's going to be linked to each user. I don't know if that was
Okay, yes, I think that
explained
that
in a
explains.
clear
Okay.
manner, or you want me to elucidate?
Well, we have his number. Maybe we should all engage him privately at this point because we've actually spent about 2 hours on the call. I know it's been an interesting session, but we're also thinking of the speakers we have kept on for so long. It's a free event and we didn't have to pay for it so that they can catch some breath. So please just indulge us and let's close the session with a vote of thanks from our vice chairman. But please, if you need to reach out to any of them, Ms. Folake Sadiq is a member of Eastern Lagos State Chapter, so she's easy to reach. Mr. Abayomi has put out his contact details in the chat room. So please, let's engage them outside the platform. Thank you all for joining us, and I will hand over to the vice chairman now to say the vote of thanks.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, everyone. You will all agree with me that this has been an insightful session. So I know for some of us, it sound like information overload, but I know we'll catch up and then with time, we'll get used to it because the reality is that this is the new normal. This is the new normal. So on that note, I would like to say thank you first to our president and chairman of council, Mrs. Uto Ukpana, FCIS. She has been on and she's still on till now. Thank you very much, Ma. And to Vice President, Mr. Francis Olawale, FCIS, our honorary treasurer, I'm almost missing that.
Mr. Yekachi Uko,
Yekachi Uko, FCIS. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And to our speakers, our first speaker, Ms. Folake Sadiq, thank you for bringing that on. I really appreciate your presentation and for, opening our insight into all those areas we should pay attention to. And lastly, to Mr. Abayomi Adebayo, we are grateful for this presentation, and I would say kudos for this platform you've built. I am particularly happy that yes, we have this kind of AI built by a Nigerian. So we are glad for that, and thank you for the good work that you've done and for the explanations and the insights you've given. I'm sure most of us will reach out to you for clarity, for explanation. And to all our members, I have been watching the number of participants from the beginning, and we stayed till the end. I saw 100. People are just leaving now. So thank you very much for this support. We are glad that you found this very interesting and informative. And I know that it's going to impact our practice as lawyers, as accountants, as governance professionals. So on that note, I would say thank you very much. Madam Chair, I saw the president having his video on earlier. I don't know if she's still on, or maybe she would like to say anything. And Madam Chair, I give the floor to you. Thank you. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year to those I have not seen in 2026. Just a big congratulations to the chairman and members of the Lagos State Exco. We all know that AI is something that is front burner, especially for governance professionals. So I've thoroughly enjoyed the session, and I will reach out for more information, and I urge everyone to do the same. So thank you. It was indeed a pleasure joining and staying through the session. Well done.
Thank you so much, my president, for that goodwill message. So I think this brings us to the end of this session, and I must thank everyone who stayed till the end. We would always, as Lagos State Chapter, bring sessions like this that would enrich you and develop our careers in different endeavors and sectors. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Please, Madam Chair, I am seeing a name. I'm seeing Abiola Sonny. I hope it's not Professor Abiola Sonny, and if he's the one, we are glad that you joined us, sir. When I saw the name, I can't ignore that name. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Mhm.